hello. When shall people arrive? Hi, Mom. Hello. Waiting for people to get their booty on this platform. You want to be in my video? Hi, Zena. Hello. Just a few minutes early, make sure people get the notification that I am here. Good morning! Yay! How are you doing? You and my mom, you're both online. How are you guys doing? I know, I'm doing quite well. It's so nice out. It's okay, Mama. We still love you. The weather is just too nice out. I couldn't stay inside. Oh, I'm so happy you're here. I know I don't get to see you, but to see your name makes me happy. Right? It's so beautiful outside. Hope the cars aren't too loud. Just couldn't be inside. Couldn't do it. Well, I think we have one more minute. Yep, one more minute. I know a couple people are going to log on probably right at the time. I'm so excited. Okay, it's 11:11. I love to start on time. I hear some honking in the background. For all the people who are watching this recorded later, sorry about the cars. It's so nice out right now, and I had to be outside for this. So, today what are we here for? We're here for basically Tarot 101. What is tarot? Each week I'll be getting a little deeper, and so what do we start with? I feel like we should start the same way I start tarot readings, which is with a cleansing. So, whatever you use to cleanse yourself, whether that's just a deep breath, or sage, or Palo Santo, salt water, you can do that now. I have my Palo Santo, and I want to also, I failed to mention yesterday during my meditation class that I feel like it's really important to get ethically sourced materials, and so my Palo Santo was found on the 4th floor. If you grow your sage, awesome. If you don't, you can always start. I'm going to be growing sage this summer. Very excited. But yes, ooh, it's windy. Start with a good cleansing. Now, why do we cleanse for tarot? We cleanse because we want to approach the cards with an open mind, a clear mind. It's not lighting. Now, not only is tarot reading kind of like reading a language of symbols, but it's also equal parts intuition, because each card has multiple meanings, and usually your gut is right. So any stress you're feeling, let it go. Release it. If you have any preconceived notions of what tarot is, release it. Today we're here to educate. I will be mentioning some things that people think tarot is, but I want to focus on not saying this is what tarot isn't, but I want to focus on what it is, not what it isn't, basically. Okay, I have my thoughts together, I promise. So, what is tarot? Tarot is a style of divination where you use cards, and there's a certain amount of cards. It's 78 cards altogether. They are separated into 2 different types of cards, so major arcana and minor arcana. And so there are 22 major cards from 0 to 21. And then there are 56 minor cards, and each minor card is, let me show you, each minor card has its own suit, like playing cards. So let me show you. So let's go with the twos. I think the twos are a good one to show you guys. So I just organized all my cards this morning. So now you will notice this is a lot like playing cards. Why is that? So this is the Two of Swords, Two of Wands, Two of Cups, Two of Pentacles. Why do these look like playing cards? Well, because they used to be playing cards. They were originally a game, or used as a game, in 14th century Italy. At least that's our first written evidence of the tarot cards. It could be much older. We don't really know. Ooh, lots of traffic. And I actually brought a couple different decks. Hi, Emmanuel. Welcome. So this is the main deck most people use. It is called the Rider-Waite. It was written by Rider and Waite. So I believe Rider was like kind of thought through the cards, I guess, and Waite did the art, I believe. But here are the original. Here's some original ones. They are in French. Hi. And I put a couple really cool ones at the top, so you can see the difference. Now, here is La Lune, the moon. I really like the art style. I think it's very pretty. And then also, one thing you're going to notice that's different between the old cards and the newer cards is back in the good old days, maybe not good old days, back in the olden days, so we have the Three of Cups here. You'll see that it's just pictures. Hi, Angela! There's pictures of cups. Three of Cups, it makes sense. Just like, you know, that would be the hearts in your average playing deck. Which you can actually use a regular, like, you know, poker deck to read your cards, if you can translate the symbols, which we'll learn eventually on this channel. But here is the newer version of cards. There's actually pictures on these. This is to help us, because humans are very visual creatures. I mean, you can look at this and you can still understand it, but once you see a picture, it gives you a little bit more insight. It makes you, it helps you to memorize the meanings. And also, while yes, it's, you know, it's a lot of memorization, you have to remember all the symbols, but also, each time you look at a card, you see something new, maybe a new part of it will pop out. Like, let's say, one day you really love her red dress and it's just speaking to you and you think of passion because red is a very passionate color. Then the next time you read the card and this card pops up, maybe it's the like the cups that are calling out to you, or even the plants at the bottom, little pumpkins. They're very cute. So yeah. And someone's walking by and looking at me. Hello. Okay. So, that is a big difference between the new ones and the older ones. Which is better? That is purely opinion. A lot of people love the older ones just because it feels, you know, more real to them, perhaps. A lot of people like to just be like, oh, I use the old ones. But, you know, some people, they just really connect with it better, and it's really fun that they're in French. But yeah, so first it was Italy and then France, and kind of grew from there. I don't have any Italian ones, but they have some other cards that predates tarot too, which I've seen, which are pretty fun. But I've only seen them once, and I don't even remember what they're called because that's how rare they are. So, who can use tarot? I have my notes over here if you couldn't tell. Who can use tarot? I believe, a lot of this is opinion, I believe anyone can read tarot. Some people think you have to be, you know, learn from a master, perhaps be initiated into the art. I think that would help. I think it would definitely make your readings more accurate, because with knowledge is power. But I think a great way to learn tarot is to just pick up a deck and pull out a card and look at it and see what you think in your heart. Ooh, my mom has some Italian ones that we can look at, maybe in another class. That would be awesome. Thanks, Mom. Or she could bring them out. It's up to you. If you want to bring them out, Mama, feel free. I never got initiated. I never took classes. I taught myself. But my mom, speaking of, she read my cards growing up, and you know, it runs in the family. It's in the genes, and so that was easier for me to connect with them, I think, just because it was part of my childhood, and I already had some experience with the cards. But yeah, anybody can do it. Who is your tarot reader, I guess? What do you want in a tarot reader? Well, maybe not what you want. What is the role of the tarot reader? So why you would go see somebody else to read your tarot cards is they're an interpreter, because this is just a language you have to learn. It's a language of symbols, and so, you know, when people, they ask me questions like, what does this mean? And I'll tell them a lot of different options of what it could mean, and then I say, it's up to you what you feel in your heart what it means, because you know your life better than I do. A lot of people don't agree with me there. A lot of people will say, well, no, you know, it's whatever the reader feels in their heart. I sometimes get feelings, and if I have a feeling, I will lean towards that one, but I definitely believe that it is not up to me what the cards mean. I'm just trying to help you understand. So that's what I personally do as a reader for other people. So what can tarot be used for? Why would we use tarot? Well, lots of things. This is what I use. So I use it for mapping future possibilities, answering questions that I have about my life, decision making, reflecting, lessons learned. So decision making, it's great if you just get hired from 2 different jobs and you want to do both of them. It's a perfect time to look at the cards, and they won't tell you what to do. That's also a misconception, I think. Well, at least when people come to me. Some people do, you can come to them and they'll tell you, well, you should do this, which works for some people, but personally it doesn't. I like to look at the cards as a map. So it shows you the possibilities of what could happen, and gives you more control that way, I think. Personally, I feel like the cards... There's an ambulance coming by. Okay. Sorry about that. That works for some people. It could work for you. Personally, I hasn't ever worked for me. And while a lot of people go like, well, that's really vague, well, life is vague. It's not really black and white. So what I also really recommend you do too is I keep notes on all of my readings. I usually take a picture. Some people don't do that. Some people don't like it when you take pictures. Make sure you ask before you take pictures of their cards. I also sometimes, if I don't feel comfortable taking a picture, because sometimes you get different feelings in your gut, I will draw out the spread. So, yeah. That way you can look back on it, and, sometimes you read and you're so stuck in a situation that you look at the cards and you're like, oh, it's got to be this. And then you reflect and you're like, damn, the cards were really trying to help me out. I just couldn't see it. So that's another reason why we try to cleanse with our nice little cleansing tools beforehand. Because one reason why we cleanse is to not just have an open mind. It's also so that we can really get into that mindset of, I don't know everything. Also, I am stuck in a very specific point in space and time, and I only have one perspective. So it's really good to write down those notes, because you don't always know what they are trying to tell you. And how are they read? That is really important. How are they read? Well, like I've been saying, they are a system of symbols. I'm going to have more videos in the future getting into specifics, but just for like a general information. So, major arcanas, you heard me say that earlier. Major Arcana, they are these really cool cards. I know it's reversed for you guys, but they have names. Now, you'll also notice that, like, for example, Page of Swords, it has a name, but these don't count. It's still of Swords. It's still a minor arcana. So the ones with names, like the Fool, Magician, and I organize these in order because they each have a number. So Fool is 0, and it goes all the way to 21. The World, which is beautiful. And so these Major Arcana cards, they are considered kind of like, I wouldn't say more important, but more impactful cards. I guess, well, before we go into Arcana and not, so when you're reading a spread, let me give you an example. So let's say I'm reading a Celtic cross spread that looks like there's a big cross in the middle, and then there's a bunch of cards on the side. So if I'm reading one of those, and I'm trying to understand, you know, something about my career. Let's just stick with career for today. I want to understand, you know, what should I do? My career is, I have a bunch of possibilities. You have, in a specific spread, where you place the cards will have specific meanings. So you use spreads for different things. So like I said earlier, you can use it for questions, for mapping out possibilities. So each spread has a different purpose. What is a spread? It's just like the position of where you put the card. And the Celtic cross is one of the most common ones. So, yeah, that's what a spread is for. I should have started with that. But a really easy spread that I think we could work with is past, present, future. Once again, career. I don't know what to do with my career. Let's say, let's just use Major Arcana. I'll just randomly choose. Let's go here, here, here. Okay. It's not really that random. I can still see them, but I didn't really put any thought into which ones I chose. So, if I put a past, present, future spread, and I just grabbed randomly, put bam, bam, bam. This would be past, this would be present, this would be future. So that gives the cards whole new meanings. So not only do the cards have meanings, where you put them has a meaning. So if you see a Major Arcana, that is kind of like a bigger thing to look at. Sorry about that, my live video. I'm going to... Okay, I turned off Wi-Fi. I'm on data, hopefully that works. Sorry about that connection problem. What time is it? 2. Ooh, not too much longer. Oh no. I can't talk fast enough. Okay, so past, present, future. This would be past, present, future. It gives a whole new layer of meaning. So past, perhaps you were a hermit and you know, stayed inside. Maybe your last job was an indoor job you did at home. Present. This, the Magician symbolizes your power. Hi, Misha. The Magician symbolizes your power, so in the present, that would mean right now you're trying to discover where your power is. Perhaps that's what it means, most likely. Future, the Hanged Man. Maybe you need to make a sacrifice. This is a card of sacrifice. So in the future, you could be looking out for that. Maybe not like... literal sacrifice, but maybe something that's important to you. Like, if we go back to the hermit, maybe you're thinking about, well, I really liked my inside job, but I really want to try this job that's, you know, out in the field. Maybe what you have to sacrifice is comfort. Perhaps. So, just some examples for you. Put those to the side. Yes. So that's kind of how they're read. Each card has a meaning, and then you put it in its place, like flip it over, see what it is, and yeah, it'll kind of tell you what to expect in that area of your life that you've already set up the box for it to fit in, basically. Whatever card goes here, that's what that part of my life means. So. Another question that I just wrote down that might be important for you guys is how How do you know your reader is legit? Because there's so many different styles of reading. Some people don't even know any of the symbols. They just look at it and they go, this triggered this thought in my brain. Some people specifically work with certain gods, spirits. Personally, I feel like I am connecting with the energies of the universe, and they're telling me what I need to know right now. You can usually tell if somebody isn't legit if they are charging you for, let's just say they pull the death card and they say, you're gonna die, which is usually inaccurate. And they say, but if you pay me $300, I'll make you a candle that you can burn and it'll break the curse. And yeah, that's usually, find somebody else. They're not worth your money. But there are so many different readers, so many different styles. So if you get deeper into it, if you feel like you love getting your tarot read, I recommend trying a bunch of different people until you find somebody who works for you. I think another important quality in a reader is that they can explain to you what... Lol. Thanks, Angela. An important thing is that they can explain to you why they're telling you this. So, even if that explanation is, it's a gut feeling, even if they're really honest and they're like, it's nothing to do with the card, it's a gut feeling, the spirits are telling me, I think that's legit. But I think if they, they just... I guess more like beginner level, doesn't necessarily make them illegitimate. Is that the correct word to be using there? Because just because you're a beginner and you can't explain it, you need your book, like with your friends, perhaps you're reading from a book, I think that's okay too. It's just, somebody's just like basically pulling answers out of their ass. That's something you don't want to trust. So how do these symbols, how do they, why are these cards telling me anything? How can I believe what this is doing? Well, like I said, open mind is important. Each person approaches the cards differently with a different viewpoint. Personally, I know that the cards are designed after specific archetypes that a person is going to experience in their lifetime. And your brain is really smart. It does so many things without you even knowing. And we're all connected. We all, have lots of symbols that are shared between everybody, A really good example is just the color green. When you look at it, a lot of people think money, prosperity, forests, and that's why that color, forest and green, is related to prosperity, is because, that's not why. It is because if you have food, if you can grow plants and you can eat, then you're going to live. You're going to be happier than somebody who can't grow foods that are brown, they're dying, they don't have, they have nothing to eat, they can't survive. So that's why green and prosperity work together, and it's kind of really deep in your animal brain. So a lot of these symbols trigger things in the back of your brain. And one time somebody was all like, isn't this kind of it can be relatable to anybody, anybody can find whatever they want? Well, yes, that's kind of why they're designed this way, is because they should be relatable to everybody. But you can get your own meaning using your subconscious. So once you've learned the cards and it becomes easier, the more familiar you are with them, it just becomes more smooth. It's a smoother process to pick out what they're trying to tell you. And you can even say it's not the cards trying to tell you, it's your subconscious. It's that collective mind that, that can help you. And also, not just collective mind, but your own personal experiences. So, Hangman, I'm going to bring this one back out. This is a great example. Hangman was originally designed off of Odin. So the story of Odin is that his story of creating the runes, which is another divination system similar to tarot cards, He hung himself upside down by the foot for something like 2 weeks, and it was his sacrifice to be given that moment of like realization, to be shown the runes. So after 2 weeks of hanging upside down, that being his, I just said the word. Wow. I need more coffee, y'all. Sacrifice. 2 weeks upside down was his sacrifice. And that's how he got this hidden knowledge. Now, for one person who is perhaps into Norse mythology, that's awesome. Somebody else might see this card who has been in the church. They might see Jesus on the cross, sacrificing himself for his people. People as in all of humanity. And that was almost like a secret piece of knowledge where he ascended. So each person has their own meaning for each card. They'll get different symbols. You know, if you're raised in the church, you're most likely going to think of Jesus when you see this card. But personally, that doesn't happen for me. I don't see Jesus. I just know that that's a possibility. So each card can have very specific meanings that relate to most people, but it's a very personal practice. So each card has its own meaning for you. So another example for your own meaning could be, since I'd like to give another example. And I saw this guy on the top of his pile. So the Page of Cups, actually no, Ace of Cups. Ace of Cups. So the numbers are really important too. Each number represents a part of a journey. Yeah, it's cool stuff, isn't it? So each number is a part of a journey, and from beginning, middle to the end. And because that's what a lot of life is, it's a cycle. That's what Om represents: beginning, middle, end, silence, beginning again. That's what the Death card is. The Death card doesn't symbolize death, it is the end of a cycle. So this is all a bunch of different words for cycles, basically. What part of the cycle are you in? Now the Ace of Cups is the beginning, so 1 is the beginning, but beginning specifically in a emotional realm. Now for one person, they might see this and the first thing they think of is new relationship. That could be awesome for that person, but for somebody else they might think it's a new journey into therapy. It's a new journey into discovering how I actually feel about this situation. Lots of different meanings. Use a notebook, reflect on it later. Eventually you'll start to learn what the cards are for you. And because we don't have too much time left, also I want to mention reversals. So not only does each card have a meaning upright, it has a different meaning upside down. Some people don't use reversals, and that's okay. It's whatever works for you. And some people, a reversal might mean the complete opposite. So instead of an emotional journey that is fulfilling, perhaps, it's an emotional journey that will hurt. It won't be helpful. Perhaps you spiral. That's what that might work for somebody else. It could also be, I like a lot of reversals in certain positions. For me, it changes depending on where it is. It could be all sorts of things, but I like to see it as a block. It's you're still going to get that journey, but it's going to be difficult. It's not going to come naturally no matter what you do. It's going to be, a struggle to get there, but you will see that in the end, there's a beautiful journey you're on, although it's tough. So yes, reversals. And so my bonus round, because we did what, who, how, that kind of stuff. Now we have our bonus, which is, are the cards evil? That's an opinion. I can't tell you. I believe no. I believe really it is what you put into it. So if you think it's evil, then it's evil. If you think it's great, then it's going to be great. If you think it's going to be a tool for you, you can use it to your advantage. Tomorrow, if you come to my Witchcraft Wednesday, you're going to hear me talk about, what is witchcraft. That's going to be the first subject. And this is, I think, well, a lot of stuff in life is witchcraft, whether you understand or not. Hello, Alyssa. But what it mainly is in your mind. It's what's in your mind becomes reality. So what you put into it, you'll get out of it, to an extent. I could make tons of videos talking about the gray areas of all this stuff. Yeah, and also another one, like I said earlier, the death card. Can it predict my death? Can it predict my pregnancy, my boyfriend cheating on me? Lots of people do believe that. And that's how they read their cards. Like I said, each person, they will attribute a certain card. Like, let's say you were cheated on and, I don't know, let's just say you got the Emperor, so it's easy. You were cheated on and you got the Emperor, which is a very masculine feeling card, a yang energy. I prefer to use the yin-yang rather than masculine-feminine, but maybe you got cheated on, you saw this, and you're like, this means cheating! That could work for you. But the death card has many meanings. So does the devil. There we go. The devil. These are the ones people are mostly afraid of. It's so good to see you're here too. It's okay. I'll have it recorded. You can watch it later. But the devil card, people will see this and they'll think, oh my god, I'm going to be possessed. Chaos shall ensue. And, I'm not going to pretend that's not a possibility. But there's deeper meanings to these symbols. The reason why they have these intense symbols on here is because it triggers part of your mind. So when you see death, you think, oh my god, that's the end. And that's what it is. The end of life. See the devil and you get kind of freaked out, like, oh my god, ah! Well, that's because it represents, it represents a few things. It represents chaos. Also, you're chained to something. There's lots of different symbolisms in here. I'm going to be going through each card individually too, probably a couple cards per episode in the future. So we can get deeper into all the symbolism, but, it's not just surface level. So, yeah, it probably, if you get this card, it probably doesn't mean you're going to be possessed. It has so many meanings. It just depends on where you put it and how you see the cards personally. That really changes things. So, hello! We're right at the end. Any questions I'd love to answer. Perhaps I have the answer to it. Perhaps I don't. But I will try. So if you want to ask me any questions, feel free. I'm going to see. It says there's like a question area. I haven't really used live much, so I don't know how that works. But if you just want to comment your questions. Also, if you don't have questions and you just want to say hello or bye, that's cool too. Questions, comments, concerns. If you think I'm looking cute today, feel free. I could use that ego boost. Otherwise, I hope you all have a lovely day. On reversal cards, yes, I did go over it a little bit, but personally, I use it reversals differently depending on where they are in the spread. But for the most part, the majority, I use it as a block in the journey that you're on. So, yeah, if you receive, let's say, the Knight of Pentacles, which is a card of, thank you. My mom loves my sweatshirt. Thanks, Mom. Hee hee. Oh, thank you. I'm beautiful. Oh, thank you. So let's say you got the Knight of Pentacles and it was reversed, and it was in, let's say, the future. That's a pretty easy one to conceptualize. So let's say it was reversed in the future. I would say, because the Knight represents, in all the suits, it represents somebody who is, for me, by the way, opinion, the Knight represents somebody who is on a journey specifically in this case, with the root chakra, so basically safety. That could mean money, health, you know, maybe a new house, but basically that security. So this is somebody who's going on a journey for that security, and they're not great at it yet, but they are, they're on their way, basically. Upside down, I would say it's really hard for you to really get going and feeling like, all right, I got this. Maybe you're still stuck in that Page of Pentacles where you're like, all right, I know what I want to do, but what the hell am I doing? And you really want to be right here, but having some troubles. That's my take on reversals. Oh, thank you. Do you feel their opposite meanings to the upright cards? Sometimes. It really depends. Oh, I'm cute. Gemini. Hello, Gemini. Geminis are good fun. Oh, shiny soul. Great info. Thank you. How does April look for Geminis? Well, because I don't have really much time left, I'm not able to do a reading like that, but you can message me. We can set something up. It's also, it'd probably be better if you got a reading that was more specific to you, and I'd love to offer that for you. My favorite card, that's a tough one. I would say, I have a few. I really love the High Priestess. She's great. She represents using your intuition and using your gut feeling, for the most part. I also really like Strength, which has so many fun meanings. It could be being powerful and strong, but it could also be strength on the inside, like emotional strength. I really like that one. And the Star and the Sun. A lot of the happy ones I really like. But Death. I love the Death card, honestly. Oh. What's my sign? I am Capricorn. Ooh. Yes. Card of the day yesterday. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, actually for Capricorns, the card for Capricorns is the Devil, so. Oh, but I can tell you what the Gemini card is. It is the Lovers. I'll show you. The Lovers is a great card. Geminis. I'll throw it upside down. Lovers, where are you? It was organized. There we go. This is the Gemini card. It is a depiction of Adam and Eve. Ah, yes, Pisces and the Moon. I'll show the Moon card for everybody. If anybody has questions about which card's theirs, I can tell you that. If you want to tell me your sign, even if you know your moon sign, your Mercury, I can tell you all that too. Libra, where's she? Libra. Oh, did I pass her? Oh, there she is. Justice. You can even see the symbol for Libra right there. Dun-da-da, Libra. Actually, you got a couple of Libras in the house on this feed today. All right. So, any last questions? Leo Moon, Strength. Yep, I love the Strength card. Leo is the lion. The Gemini card, what is the meaning? So the meaning between the Lovers, they have a few different meanings. It is duality. It is the perfect pair. Yeah, it's coming together. And usually creating something new. Just like two lovers can create a baby. It's also a creation of a new life, perhaps. Virgo is the Hermit. I love the Hermit. Where you at? Hermit. This is us right now. We're all a bunch of hermits. Isolation. Woo-woo. Self-care. Woo-woo. Self-discovery. Woo-woo. All right. Well, I hope you all have a lovely day. I hope to see you tomorrow, too, for Witchcraft Wednesday. Ooh, Scorpio moon. You're going to love this. Scorpio. Death. Was that I feel like, you know, Scorpios have a bad rep, but yeah. I love Scorpios being death. Cracks me up. All right, you guys have a lovely day. If you ever want to look back at this, I'm going to find a way to re-upload it. I think I'm going to start uploading things onto YouTube instead of Instagram TV because I have to chop them up and it's a little frustrating. Maybe I'll do both. We'll see. But, all right.